And welcome to the Q Today program for May the 22nd to May the 25th. I'm one of your hosts for this program, Allison Duddy.
And I'm your other host, Mitch Vick. Coming up after the news, we have an interview with Heloise, Dixon-Warren, and Lori Fogarty of Farmed, the organization that promotes agriculture in the North Cariboo. So stay tuned for that coming up a little later.
And before we get into the news, we just want to thank you for watching and remind you that our weekday program runs from Tuesday at 5 p.m. to Friday at 8 a.m. and our weekend show from Friday at 5 p.m. till Tuesday at 8 a.m. And we broadcast every day at 8 a.m., 5 p.m., and 10 p.m.
And as always, if you have any comments on the program, you can reach us by email at qtoday@qcatv.ca. If you'd like some information about the program or you'd like to get information about sponsoring, you can give us a call at 250-992-3650. And as always, thanks to the Quesnel Caribou Observer for providing some of our news stories.
Yes, and remember, we do just give the highlights here on Q Today. So if you want to get the full details on any of the stories that we cover here, you can pick up your copy of the Quesnel Caribou Observer. And now over to Mitch for some of the news.
Thank you, Allison.
You bet.
So from news from the city this week, city staff have been directed to apply for 2 grants through the General Strategic Priorities Fund and Innovations Fund for a pair of drainage projects, one of them being in North Quesnel, valued at over $1.1 million, and the other in West Quesnel for stormwater, valued at over $2.4 million. So a couple of projects they're hoping to get some help with funding. And it is official, the 2012 tax rate bylaw has passed by City Council. In summary, the average resident will see an increase of 3.3% to their municipal portion of their property tax bill, whereas the regional district will actually see a 2.3% reduction in their portion of their property tax bill. A few appointments to make note of. In light of the fact we're still looking for a new city manager, Ken Coombs was appointed acting co-corporate administrator and acting approving officer for the city, and Carrie Bolton was appointed as acting co-corporate administrator, and Gina Albers was appointed as deputy corporate administrator. The kiosk in Laborde Park will be receiving a facelift courtesy of the group Farmed, which I made note of earlier. So looking forward to seeing their spin and their design on that new sign. And also, the city has decided to put business license reports available to the public on a monthly basis. And many feel that this is going to be good for business development, agencies, and the community as a whole, so that we can see when new businesses are applying for their permits and actually starting up in our town. Awesome. So hopefully that'll help communication in that area. Over to you.
Well, it's that time of year, the weather's improving, and the Caribou Fire Center is stressing the open fire prohibition. There have already been 35 fires in the Caribou Fire Center this season, all human-caused. Fire Information Officer Jenny Fremlin cited carelessness of use as the reasons for the fires. Fremlin also said that although most of the outcome of fire season is determined by June rains, she hopes residents will take the open fire prohibition seriously. So specifically, it is prohibited to have 2 open fires 1 meter by 1 meter going at the same time. Fremlin added that fire officers have been issuing tickets, and some of the common infractions for which tickets can be issued include failure to report a fire, that's a $115 fine, drop, release, or mishandling a burning substance, $173 fine, failure to extinguish a burning substance, $173 fine also. Lighting, fueling, or using fire against restrictions is a $345 fine. Failure to comply with a fire restriction is also a $345 fine. And lastly, failure to have 8 liters of water or a firefighting hand tool is also a $345 fine. So you know, Mitch, 35 fires this season so far, every single one of them caused by humans. What does that tell you? Are we getting the message here?
I would say not. So hopefully this scheme will help curb that, because we're in for, just considering the amount of rainfall we haven't had.
That's right.
I think we're in for a bit of a nasty season, so that's not a good omen.
No,
that
definitely
many fires
not.
already.
You know, I don't get it with people. I mean, we want to have our beautiful environment and, you know, campsites and stuff to be able to enjoy, and for our grandkids to enjoy, and people are being a little bit too careless.
Just
something
seems
to work
so simple,
on.
Though.
It does. It seems kind of like a no-brainer that, you know, that we have to keep reminding people and that the word has to be constantly out there. And then still, like I say, 35 fires, all human caused. Unfortunate. So get the message. Yeah, get the message. You bet.
So moving on to some job news. Good news for employment opportunities in the mining sector in British Columbia. The BC government is committing to a long-term growth strategy which would see an additional 8 new mines open up and 9 existing mines expand up till 2015. Rich Coleman, Minister of Energy and Mines, outlined the overarching goals of the program, which are enhancing BC's competitive edge, streamlining regulatory processes, ensuring health and safety of BC's workers, building partnerships with First Nations, and developing a well-skilled workforce. With these new mines and expanded mines, the province will see an additional $1.6 billion more annual mine operation revenue and employ an additional 10,000 jobs by 2020. In 2011, more than 29,000 people were employed in mineral exploration and mining and related sectors, mostly in rural British Columbia. So I think that really illustrates, you know, we're definitely rural British Columbia. And I think considering some of the challenges we're facing with forestry, there may be an opportunity for us to transfer some of those jobs to this industry, mining, which is obviously facing some growth. And it's good to see that on this topic that the government seems to be focusing and preparing for the future.
You bet. Thanks for that, Mitch.
Thank you.
So there was a neat article that was submitted to the Observer last week by Barkerville Historic Town. This year actually marks the historic town's sesquicentennial, or 150th anniversary, since Billy Barker helped spearhead a 20-year, multi-billion-dollar industrial revolution that literally helped build a province. The article takes you back in time, asking you to imagine hand-digging through layers of soggy, worthless gravel, hoping and praying the next shovel stroke will expose a fortune in gold. At 52 feet, the ground begins to pay, and the greatest creekside placer gold deposit the world has ever seen is yours for the taking. Well, this is Billy Barker's story. Declared a National Historic Site in 1923 and later a Provincial Heritage Site in 1958, Barkerville is now the largest living history museum in Western North America. Barkerville's manager of visitor experiences, James Douglas, said this anniversary year is full of exciting adventures for the more than 65,000 international visitors who flock to Barkerville annually. The signature event for this year's anniversary celebrations is Discovery Day weekend. That's August 11th and 12th. And they will be officially commemorating the 150th anniversary of Billy Barker's astonishing gold discovery in 1862 and the subsequent birth of Barkerville Historic Town. During the two-day gala, visitors will be treated to the triumphant return of the Canadian National Gold Panning Championships, hosted by 5-time World Invitational Gold Panning Champion and lifetime Barkerville resident Scott Ray. And if you would like more details, you can call 1-888-994-3332 or visit their website at www.barkerville.ca if you want to keep updated on all the sesquicentennial fun happening at Barkerville this season. So, sounds like a lot of fun.
It's going to be a busy year for
It
Barkerville.
is, yeah.
It's great news.
It is great. And 65,000, that's just international. That's not, you know, locals that go out there and residents of Canada and that kind of thing. That's pretty neat.
That's going to be great. So a different kind of treasure we'll turn to now, and that is the treasure of recycling. And basically, we're talking about turning junk into treasure. Enver Herbinik, and I apologize if that's not said quite right, he is the owner of Northern Recycling Incorporated, and he specializes in the recycling of a wide variety of metals from stainless steel to copper. And recycling the metal not only has the obvious environmental benefits, and of course that prevents the dangerous things from ending up in our landfill and leaching into our groundwater, but don't forget about the raw material savings by recycling. 90% of raw materials are prevented from being extracted when you recycle existing metal. And then of course it's the water pollution which is generated by smelting metals and whatnot, and by recycling our metal, you can reduce water pollution by 76%. The economic benefits are the value one can get from bringing in scrap metal. So how about making some money out of your scrap metal, and come and talk to the folks at NRI. Metal is endlessly recyclable according to Herbinick. It can be turned over again and again into new metal products. For more information about what metals NRI accepts, please give them a shout at 991-2749.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's, you know what, just the environmental concerns of burying some of these metals is huge. But if you consider that, if you have some scrap metal in your property or whatever, you might be able to get paid for that. So
that's a bonus for sure.
A bonus for everyone in this story. Yeah.
Definitely. Thanks, Mitch. So Relay for Life is finally here. The premier Canadian Cancer Society fundraiser is taking place this Saturday, the 26th at Laborde Park. As always, it'll be a busy day with volunteers arriving by 7 a.m. and teams arriving as early as 9 a.m. to decorate their sites. A survivor reception begins at 10 a.m. with food and refreshments leading up to the Victory Lap, which begins the 12 hours of relay from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. As the day moves on, the dynamic Fight Back ceremony begins on the stage at 5 p.m. with the Remember ceremony at 9:45 with the lighting of the luminaries. They've kind of got a neat thing happening with the luminaries this year. Relay for Life has partnered with the Salvation Army to collect canned goods that are going to be used to secure the luminary bags instead of sand in case it gets a little bit windy out there. And of course, the canned items will be donated to the Salvation Army after the event is over. There's going to be lots of activities happening in the park on Relay Day. Relay for Life co-chair Michelle Godfrey said in the midfield, activities will be carrying on all day long. And she added that some of the new activities this year include learning to play the bagpipes, interactive self-defense demonstrations where the public is encouraged to participate, Zumba, belly dancing, community drumming by Nasco First Nations, and there's going to be a tug-of-war challenge between the RCMP and the fire department. So that sounds like fun. And there's also going to be lots of health promotion information, as well as lots of children's activities sponsored by Early Childhood Educators of BC. Professional stylists from Outer Limits will also be shaving heads for those who have chosen to fundraise in that way. However, anyone can spontaneously choose to go bald for just a $10 donation. Too bad you're going to be away this weekend, Mitch.
I know.
You could get your head shaved for $10.
Not a lot more to go on that. That's fine. I'd do it.
Godfrey also did want to just remind the public to no dogs, no smoking, and definitely no alcohol is allowed in the park. And if you're part of a team and a barbecue is part of your site prep, you must have a fire extinguisher on hand for that. So it sounds like it's going to be a really busy relay day with lots of new activities planned. Everyone is welcome, whether you're part of a team or not, to come down to Laborde Park this Saturday and take in some of the Relay for Life activities.
That really sounds like it's going to be a good time.
It does. The Zumba dancing and the tug-of-war, and yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a good one. And the tug-of-war, teams can challenge other teams too. It's not just the RCMP versus the fire department. Yeah. So it should be good for sure. I hope the weather is good for the day.
Oh yeah, I heard it's supposed to smarten up towards the end of the week, so
good.
Hopefully that happens.
Good.
So moving on to sports. So how did the Kangaroos get their name? Well, it's an interesting story. Pel Gauthier is a local resident and he's nearly a centenarian. He tells a story about how this all happened in 1947. He was sat down at the Cornell Hotel for a much-deserved beer. We met up with local Arnie Hasselgren, and he was the owner of the hotel. Paul explained to Arnie that the Millionaires, the name of the team that was prior, they were in dire need of new uniforms. Arnie mused about it and said that he had won a $50,000 prize, 50,000 Australian dollars, while in Amsterdam, Australia. The catch was for this prize, though, is the money had to be spent in Australia. So basically, he suggested, well, I'll donate the uniforms because I have to spend the money in Australia. So I'll buy the uniforms there, and I'd like to name the team the Kangaroos in honor of where the money came from. A few weeks went by, and Paul went back for a drink, and lo and behold, there was a big bag of uniforms on the counter. And that was the uniforms from Australia. So Paul managed the team from 1947 to 1948, and that's how the Roos got their name, from the uniforms that were bought from money that was won in Australia.
Who knew?
Yeah. Back in 1947, you could go take in a Roos game for 50 cents, and of course kids and seniors were free. And just as a note, Paul is going to be turning 100 years old in September of this year, September 19th.
Wow.
And I thought that was a great story.
That is an awesome story.
Who would have thought that?
You know, I had often wondered how they came up with Quesnel Kangaroos here, and now I know. That's really neat. And now you know too. That's right. So also in sports, 23 competitors from Quesnel recently attended the Grand Prix of Taekwondo in Kamloops. One of those competitors was Taylor Parr, an 8-year-old student at Dean's Black Belt Academy. Each competitor chose from 5 categories: traditional Korean patterns, high kick, sparring, chanbara, and a choice between kickboxing or Olympic Taekwondo. Parr chose to compete in all 5 and medaled in every category, with a gold in sparring and patterns and silver in the other 3 categories. The 22 other competitors from Quesnel, ranging in age from 5 to 38, brought home a total of 72 medals, 11 gold, 16 silver, and 45 bronze. So a great showing.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's awesome. 72 medals amongst 23 people. That's pretty good.
I feel very safe with that team in
No
town,
kidding.
you know? I think we got some real capability there.
Good point.
As I mentioned earlier, Nate had a chance to sit down recently with Heloise Dixon-Warren and Lori Fogarty. These 2 ladies are the driving force behind Farmed, and they will be discussing their new project. So let's take a look at Nate in conversation with Heloise Dixon-Warren and Lori Fogarty.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Ellison. I'm here with Heloise Dixon-Warren, president of Farmed. You're farmed out. And the Secretary-Treasurer, Lori Fogarty. How are you?
Great, thanks,
Very good,
Nate.
That's great. We're here because people in the community have heard of Farmed before, and we just want to remind them what Farmed is. But basically, you're here because we're going to talk about an exciting new project that you guys are spending lots of your volunteer time doing, moving and championing agriculture in our region. So, first of all, Heloise, what is Farmed?
Oh, well, first of all, thanks, Nate, very much for having us here. It's a real pleasure. And we're here on behalf of the Farm Group, which is also known as the North Cariboo Agriculture Marketing Association. And Farmed is just in the process now of implementing a very big project called the North Cariboo Agriculture Awareness and Marketing Project. And we are, it's a project of a great number of different components. And we've been working on it for about 18 months, and we've now just secured all our funding, and we're ready to bring it forth into the community.
Okay, so we want to get into the project, but before we do move into the specifics, Farmed was established because of a perceived need, Lori?
Farm was established in 2006 by Heloise to help to promote agriculture within our region. And Farmed is made up of a number of farmed businesses. We also have community organizations and just individuals who are interested in supporting agriculture within the region and our own goals as an organization.
Because agriculture was big here, and it seems somehow, in my mind, kind of slipped under the radar for a number of decades. I know people always ranched and did things, but the idea of being creative with agriculture has only kind of surfaced in the last few years, and farms seem to me to be the catalyst for this. So you must be proud of Farmed.
Yeah, I'd say very, very much so. Yeah. It's been very, very successful as a small grassroots organization in moving things forward for agricultural producers that aren't typical for a lot of producers. They don't typically have, or they have not typically marketed their products. And so what Farmed has enabled the group people to do is to actually market at farm gate, at farmers market, and to do things like agritourism a little bit more successfully.
Okay, so now we're getting to almost a new step here with the North Cariboo Agriculture Awareness and Marketing Project. So let's describe what's happening.
Okay, so the project itself was actually rolled out last year with the inception of the Junior Farmer Program, which was done at the farmers market, and we had about 60 young people that participated in that. And then over the last 12 months since we've done that, we've actually secured quite a bit additional support from the community, and both local and regionally, and we're actually now implementing the project. And the project is made up of several different components, one being large highway billboard signage. One will be going north of town and one south of town, and they're about 12 feet by 16 feet, so they're actually quite big signage.
Do you know what they're going to say yet?
Welcome to North Caribou Farm Country, grown for you.
Oh,
Will be the
Good,
tagline.
Good. Yeah. Good. We don't have a picture of, you don't have a picture of it yet. It's not created.
No, not,
okay.
So the other
In
thing,
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we worked quite hard over the last, we had a branding committee, which is what came up with the tagline per se. And right now our brand is actually, has gone to a designer, a local designer, to have the logo developed.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got a billboard project, and you have about 3 or 4 other things too, Lori.
Yes, besides the billboard, we also are coordinating a North Caribou farm producer map, so a farm product map, so producers and consumers can become more linked. We have found that it's a bit difficult for consumers to know how to get farm products, and so we want to make that contact a lot easier, so our local consumers know what farms are producing within our North Caribou region, and the diversity is quite amazing once you see how much is being produced, and also where can you buy it, and so where locally can you go to get these products. And we're going to produce the map. We're gearing for 4,000 copies, and we are going to post that map on a kiosk, which is going to be located in Laborde Park, just near the Visitor Information Center. Okay. And so be sure to stop by throughout the summer to see where you are able to buy your local products in a very hopefully easily
from one to another and do your grocery shopping.
Yes, or maybe you'll be able to connect at some of our local retail stores, farmers market, call up the producer. There's many ways that you'll be able to make that contact.
Okay, so you got a kiosk coming, you got a map coming, you got a billboard coming. In terms of communicating with the say the new cyber world,
okay,
how are we doing that?
Yeah, Farm has a website, which is www.farm.ca, okay. And then the other thing that's happening within the whole region is a website which is bigger than just the North Caribou. It incorporates all of the Caribou Regional District. And it's being set up through the agriculture web-based enterprise tool, and that'll be online. And we're hoping that there will be a direct link to that website through our local farmed website. The other thing that we've done is we've actually started a Facebook page called North Caribou Grown for You. Okay. Or North Caribou Farm Country Grown for You.
North Caribou Farm Country Grown for
You. That's correct. And that's addition to our farmed Facebook site, which we also have online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people could go interact with you, ask questions, get dialogues going on the Facebook page, and we're totally into Facebook, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Social media.
Yeah, social media is where it's at. That's what my kids tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you got a lot of projects going. I guess you really need to have partners to help you along the way.
Yes, Community Futures was our first partner and supporter. When we initially came up with the project components, they were kind enough to allocate $5,000 of a special grant towards the project. And from there, we have also gained support from the Rotary Club of Quesnel, Northern Development Initiative Trust, the Lions Club of Quesnel, as well as partners for some of our agriculture conferences, the Ag and Hort Leap, which we had in 2011 and 2012, through School District 28, the Province of BC, College of New Caledonia. And finally, of course, we've had support from the Quesnel Farmers Market, and just recently, the Caribou Regional District has also offered their support, which is very fitting because most of the farming does take part in the Caribou Regional District, so we're very happy to have them on board as well.
So it's great. You got people, you're ready to go. It's almost like we're getting to a new plateau in terms of agriculture here in the North Caribou. I've got a question now. Why is agricultural agriculture, farming, so important to you, each of you individually? Why? Why do you like it?
Well, I think it's a lifestyle choice, my personal attachments to it as a farmer myself. But I think more importantly than that, it enables food security. So agriculture is not just about sector development, it's also about local food production. And I think certainly that's one of the key points that I think we're trying to capture with the farm group, and particularly with this project. Food security is very important, obviously, and creating more sustainable communities in the long run.
Okay. And Laura, you were a home ec teacher for many, many years, so you dealt with the kind of common sense economies.
That is correct.
That people really maybe are losing a little bit, but is that a little bit of why you are involved now?
Certainly, as a past home ec teacher, food was very important to our program, and for us to take part in local food production, and sustainability of that local food production is one of the reasons why I became involved in this. And also for economic diversity is another goal of my own personal nature. And so we would like to also recognize that for sustainability of farmers, because many are going to be retiring, the Junior Farmer Program, which was sponsored by Northern Health with their HEAL program, Healthy Living and Activities, as well as the Quesnel Community Foundation, is also important to help to get our children and our families involved in and knowledgeable of their own local food production, even urban farming as far as growing your own food.
Right. Are we going to have chickens in the backyard in Quesnel, do you think?
Why not?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're really busy now, both of you, and you're also on the CRD. How's that treating you?
Oh, I'm very much enjoying it. Yes, I'm the regional director for Area B.
Okay.
And yeah, so
that's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful actually. It's a great opportunity to have that.
So you're able to bring the agricultural message down to the regional district.
Yeah, I'm certainly trying to bring that component to it.
As Laura mentioned, you did get support for that and for this project.
Yeah.
And Lori, you're still at Cottonwood House?
Yes, helping to manage Cottonwood House with a wonderful team of staff this year, and we're really pleased to announce that we have 2 Percheron horses ready and waiting to take our visitors on wagon rides on the Caribou Wagon Road.
Well, I hope that you and everybody else at Coleman, different people out there, get the credit you deserve for taking Cottonwood House in the last decade and bringing it up to such a high standard.
It's a wonderful place to work.
Yeah, great. So, any last comments, big challenges, message you want to get the community to know about the North Caribou Agricultural Awareness and Marketing Project?
I think with every challenge there's an opportunity, and I guess one of our messages is to let the local agriculture producers in the North Caribou to come forward and get their listing to us. The listing on the map is available at no cost. It doesn't matter if you don't sell at the farm gate. You can state right on there where the product is available, whether it be at a retail outlet or at the farmer's market, or so you don't have people just showing up at the farm gate. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges we're having, is to get
okay, so
the word
some
out
people show up at an appropriate time, so you got to, because people have lives too, they can't kind of come at 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so you're trying to kind of get that. That's a bit of a challenge, but and so sometimes you could still be a member, but you don't have to have farm gate sales.
That's correct.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yes. So for those producers who have not yet registered for the farm product map, just email info@farmed.ca and
let's get that done.
info@farmed.ca, and we will connect with you and get your basic listing on that farm product map, and it is free.
Well, I'm so excited. I really am excited. My father was a farmer, and you know, to see agriculture kind of come back, because I really feel it, and it's so important, especially, you know, what's going to happen in the world. We've got land here. So thanks for being champions on this.
Well, and thank you very much, Nate.
Yeah, Heloise.
Thanks for having us, Nate.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, back to Allison, back to Mitch.
Thanks, Nate and Heloise and Lori, for that. It's obvious that agriculture is and will continue to be a large part of Quesnel's economy and culture. Good luck to Farmed. So moving on, we've got the photo of the day that our friend Dave Sutton sent in to us. He went up to Barkerville last weekend and took in the Victoria Day celebrations up there. Barkerville kicked off its 150th anniversary season with the annual Victoria Day tea on Monday. And it looks like he saw a nice little bear on the way up there too. So thanks to Dave Sutton for those photos as always.
And thanks to a sponsorship from the Lung Association of BC, we're still giving away a copy of this great Privilege golf book to each weekly winner of the Photo of the Week contest. And I got to tell you, I had the privilege going golfing to one of our courses over the weekend. It was pretty pricey, but a good time. And I'm telling you, there's a coupon in here that could save you a few dollars on both courses in town.
Great.
Great little book with savings from not only our local courses, but also the rest of BC and courses even in Manitoba and some even in Washington State. So please send in your photos to us and you will have a chance to win this great little book. And we'll be making another draw on our next show and every week until the end of June. So get your local photos to us at qcatv.ca and you'll be entered to win.
All right, thanks Mitch. Next up, it's time to take a look at what's happening locally with our community calendar.
Well, that's it for this show. Next show, Nate will be in conversation with Bob Simpson, our independent MLA. If you'd like to give us some feedback or tips or any news you think we should be covering here on the show, you can contact us by email, again, qtoday@qcatv.ca. If you would like to be a sponsor or volunteer, you can also call me at 992-3650. That's actually Nate. Or call the station and leave a message for John at 992-8363.
That was my fault on your script. Sorry, Mitch.
You can call me too. That's fine. Yeah.
Sure. And we are also all set up on Facebook now too, so you can watch our show either on qcatv.ca, thanks to our colleague Eddie D'Souza, or on Facebook, Q Today, Big Q, Big T, all one word.
Remember, Q Today is produced by QMag, the Quesnel Media Access Group. Thank you for watching, and remember, our purpose is to get Quesnel talking.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.